Hello, and welcome to this hypnotic sleep time story for adults and big kids alike. This is a transformative story to help you develop your inner power and so manifest your own great good fortune. It has some hypnotic suggestions embedded within, so it's really important that you don't play it while driving or doing anything that requires your full conscious attention. Listen when you're in a safe place, maybe in your bed before going to sleep, and you know you probably won't be interrupted. I'll just quickly say I would love you to like this video and subscribe to this channel. It really helps me create more content like this. Also, either now or really soon, you can sign up to my Patreon. Patreon supporters get access to extended mixes, MP3s, and ultra hi-fi audio files. Check the description for details. Sit yourself down and make yourself thoroughly comfortable, old Thaddius would say. Or even better, lie down and make yourself thoroughly comfortable, for it is safe and warm here, and I have a story to tell you. And it's the sort of story best enjoyed as you used to enjoy stories as a child. Thoroughly relaxed and just maybe, if you like, drifting off to sleep. And that, in a nutshell, is my advice to you. Sit down or lie down and make yourself thoroughly comfortable, for we are going to tell a story, a hypnotic bedtime story for owning your own power and manifesting a great good fortune, as Thaddius himself liked to put it. And if you do start to drift off and start making up your own story instead of following exactly the one I am telling, that is all well and good, and maybe even better. If you decide to take a walk in the old town at certain times of day, at certain times of the year, maybe at certain phases of the moon, or when the wind is in a particular direction, if conditions are just right, you might start to see something out of the corner of your eye. Or maybe it's in your mind's eye. The old town. Because every now and then you can indeed catch a glimpse of it. And they say, if your intention is clear and your heart is good, and if certain folk give you their leave, then you can walk there as easy as turning an unexpected corner. In the days of the old town, the fairy folk and the elven folk lived side by side with us, and everyone got along just famously. And maybe that's the reason why, at certain times of day, at certain times of the year, when the wind is in just the right direction, you can still walk there. In the days of the old town, all the shops had windows made of little panes of glass, and they bowed out like insect eyes. And each shop had the owner's name and the nature of their business in beautiful hand-painted letters over the shop front or on a board hanging from a pole. One such sign read, "Thaddius Tryppe, Curios and Cures." Now the name might sound familiar, for Thaddius Tryppe had a daughter named Sarah Sorrel, and Sarah Sorrel, née Tryppe, had a son named Sirius, who also went by the name of Tryppe. Don't ask me why. And this self-same Sirius Tryppe was my great-great-grandfather, or thereabouts. Curious, you might find yourself stepping over the threshold and into the shop. Curious for curios, and indeed there are many such in the shop of Thaddius Tryppe. There are shiny brass bedpans and saucepans made of copper, and a suit of armour with a huge dent in it, where a knight of ancient times had been biffed mightily. There are doorknobs and hunting horns, and old spectacles with no arms that you just perch on the end of your nose. Some say that Thaddius Tryppe would also sell you a bottle of surprisingly good and surprisingly cheap French brandy, or baccy, or elven smokeweed, for the shops in the old town had large and interesting storerooms, and behind the storerooms there were caves that went, according to some accounts, all the way down to the centre of the earth. And if you should ever be curious enough to ask Thaddius Tryppe how he came by such very good brandy at such a surprisingly good price, or how he happened to have a pouch of elven smokeweed, which was very hard to come by, even in those days, he would tell you in a somewhat vague manner that he may have found a case in a dusty corner of the storeroom, and supposed it came with the shop when he took possession of it. Or perhaps, unlikely as it may sound, the fairies gave it to him as a gift in return for some great but unspecified service he had once rendered them. Truth be told, curios are not Thaddius Tryppe's main line of business. But there again, neither is the surprisingly good and surprisingly cheap French brandy, whose provenance remains stubbornly opaque. No, Thaddius Tryppe's main line of business was always in the cures inscribed alongside the curios in the sign above his shop front. Some of Thaddius' cures came in bottles or little pots, and smelt of frankincense and cinnamon and beeswax and spirituous liquors. But the most prized of all came out of Thaddius' own mouth, as words and verses, and mumbling, and sometimes little snatches of songs, for Thaddius had a way with words, such that you could not really help it, but be bound by the spell he wove. And many said it was real magic that came out when he spoke, and he had that magic of the fairy folk, who were, I may have mentioned, often still to be seen around and about in the old town in those days. And, as I may have mentioned, Thaddius himself was not averse to hinting, although you could never for certain say that he had said it plain and bold, that he had had occasion to do a notable favour for such and such a fairy gentleman, or this or that fine fairy lady. And maybe you might think to yourself as how his words seemed somehow to be woven together and hang in the air, as if held there by the silver thread spun of the morning mist. Old Billy Fourfeathers came by the other day, and he is such a grand old gentleman now, but still so light and sprightly on his feet, like the mountain goat he swears was his grandfather. He and I had such adventures once upon a day, and Thaddius, he said to me, when we snuck into the summer ball at the Frog King's castle, and you danced all night and all of Midsummer's Day with Lady Griselda Mighty Hop's daughter. And half that time I was in the thickest pickle that ever a young fairy gentleman might land himself in. And do you know, Thaddius, I might be in that thick pickle still, if it wasn't for the fine speech you made to the Frog King, and the fine deeds you did, as you promised you would, for that most excellent of kings. But certainly I should say no more, Thaddius would say, or else you might think me boastful. And so it might be, on a rainy Wednesday, on a cold early spring day, when the new moon has risen before dawn, and the wind is in the east by southeast, that you turn a corner in the old town, and thinking you caught a snatch of a very pretty old song hanging in the air, that you remember but cannot remember, you find yourself quite suddenly in front of Thaddius Tryppe's shop. Curios and cures, as if it had never gone anywhere and was as likely to be there as a Woolworth's or an Apple store or a Lion's tea house. And so, of course, you go in. What else could you possibly do? As your eyes slowly adjust to the gloom, you see the bedpans and baskets and fiddles and the suit of armour with the big dent where its ancient owner had been biffed mightily. And there, turning to say hello, is Thaddius himself. "A warm welcome to you," says he, "for I see you've travelled a long way to visit my humble shop. And will you step into the back room and take the weight off your feet a while?" You follow him through a low arch and a glass bead curtain, and here we are now in this cosy little back room. Here's a roll-top desk covered in books and pictures, and small brass devices of cunning invention and obscure purpose, and such like treasures. And a small open fire piled high with ash, but still blazing away with the most cheerful of fires. "Sit yourself down and make yourself thoroughly comfortable," old Thaddius says. "Or even better, lie down," he says, indicating an old ottoman sofa, "and let the weight slip off your legs and arms. For I have a story I should like to tell you, and it is a story best told by firelight, and best heard as the child in you has always heard stories, with wonder and with kindness, and with a deep sense of comfort." As he says this, you could almost imagine there is something a little unearthly about this Thaddius, as if his hair were made of thistledown, and his ears somewhat pointy, and his eyebrows more than reasonably bushy in a fairyish sort of way, which they may very well have been. Thaddius himself would never entirely confirm, nor would he ever entirely deny, that he may have had a little fairy twig or two in his family tree, or even, which is a much rarer thing, a little green elven shoot. "Notice, if you will," he continues, "the fire crackling in the grate, and that glow that comes from it and weaves itself into the fabric of this room, for many people have remarked on the quality of that glow. It is a little more than the ordinary glow of a fire, lovely though the ordinary glow of a fire is. You see, the fire that burns in this room, I have come to believe, is imbued with a special and particular magic. You will notice if you close your eyes for a moment, after such a long journey and such a long, cold and tiring day, such a day as this, it is quite natural for your eyelids to become heavy and your head to sink softly back into that cushion or pillow or such like. And once you have decided to allow your head to fall back, just so, and your eyelids to let go and close, as you still seem to see that glow emanating from the fire, and that is, or so some say, a sure sign of a magical field. And with this, Thaddius would likely let out a long, relaxed breath, and you might find yourself also letting out a long, relaxed breath in sympathetic harmony, as it were. For the goodness and kindness in Thaddius' words, and the goodness and kindness in his manner, were always such that it was easy to feel a deep and easy trust in all that he said, and in all the strange and uncanny paths he might lead you along. And there is something of a pause during which you might take in an even deeper, refreshing breath, and then let it go, such that it seems that any tension or tiredness you have just vanishes out of your body. You might now notice, continues Thaddius, that the golden magical light from our little fire has taken a singular liking to your heels, and so it is that, as you breathe in, that golden light flows into your feet through the backs of your heels, and you can feel it growing and settling there for a moment. And now, as you softly and gently and easily breathe out, the golden light softly fades away, and with it any tiny remnants of tension release and relax and are gone. Now, as you breathe in again, the golden light flows and settles into the whole of your feet, left and right, and as you softly and gently and easily breathe out, you can feel any tension or aches and pains there softly dissolve and flow out and away. And let the golden light now flow into your calves, the muscles of your calves left and right, and as your breath flows out, it dissolves and carries away any tension. Now, as you breathe in, the golden light flows into your shins, right and left, and as you breathe out, any tension or tiredness in your shins dissolves and flows away. And so, as the warm, golden, magical firelight of the fairies, or so it is said, fills the room and fills your bones, Thaddius sits by the fire and gently helps you guide the magic and your attention. On the next breath in, the golden light flows into your knees, and as the breath flows out, It carries away all the tiredness and tension from your knees. Now the golden light flows into the muscles at the back of your thighs, and as you breathe out, those muscles soften and relax. The light flows into the front and sides of your thighs, and as you breathe out, any tension, tiredness, or difficulty there softens, relaxes, lets go. With the next in-breath, the light flows deep into your hips, into the great joints of your thigh bones and your pelvis. And as the breath flows out, all tension and tiredness in your hips softens, relaxes, lets go. And so with the next breath, the golden light in the magical fire and in the room flows into the space right in the middle of your pelvis. The golden light flows in and settles there, and then, with the out-breath, all tension, tiredness, shadow softens, melts, flows away. Now, with the in-breath, the golden light flows into the middle of your belly, all around your guts, and then, as the tide turns, any tension, tiredness, or worry softens, melts, and flows away. The golden light and magical energy flows now into your center, around your diaphragm, your heart, and your lungs. And as you breathe out, any difficulty or tension or stuckness softens and flows away. And the light and the magic flows into your throat, and you notice any tension, large or small, in that area. And now, as the breath flows out, that tension softens, releases, and flows away. The golden light flows into your face now, into the muscles of your jaw, your cheeks, your lips, your tongue, around your eyes, around the backs of your eyes. And softly now, as the breath flows out, any tension or tiredness and any aches all just melts and flows away. And now the light flows in and around your forehead and your temples and the front and top of your skull. And now it all relaxes, softens, and any tension flows away. And so the light and the soft golden magic flow from the top of your head around the back of your head and down through the base of your neck muscles, and so with the flowing out, all is softening, releasing, letting go. Now down into your shoulder, the muscles around the back of your shoulders, around the tops of your shoulders, into your shoulder blades, and all the muscles in and around your shoulders. With the out-breath, any tension, any hurts, softens, releases, lets go. The golden light flows into your upper arms, the biceps at the front, the triceps at the back, and with the out-breath, any tensions and aches soften, release, let go. The light flows down into your elbows and forearms, all around and through the dozens of muscles that control your wrists and hands. And now, with the out-breath, soften, release, let go. And now, down into your hands, across your palms, across the backs of your hands, down each finger, each thumb, right down to the tips, and breathe out, and all the tension and aches soften and flow away. And now, says Thaddius, is it not a grand thing to feel your body and all your limbs and head all fine and relaxed? And maybe all you have to do now is to enjoy the gentle sensation of your breath, coming and going without any effort whatsoever. Or if you do feel there is still a tiny bit of effort or tightness left in your breathing, just make that inner decision to allow it to go on releasing in its own good time, knowing that there is a wisdom deep down inside your body that will allow your health and relaxation to grow and grow in its own good time. All is well, says Thaddius, and all is getting more and more well, and better as time goes on. And really there is all the time in the world now, so there is no end to how much wellness may come and how much better things are becoming. And here we are, and I dare say you've come here today because you've heard that I possess the secret of manifesting a great good fortune, and you would like to manifest a fortune of your own, to have and to hold, and to take care of all the people you love, and look after the people and places and beasts and critters that you'd like to look after, and maybe enjoy a few of life's little luxuries yourself, or even a few of life's big luxuries, because provided you're doing no harm with what you choose to enjoy and always pay a fair and a good price, you're really just providing work and income for those lovely folk who make and sell all those lovely things. And there is surely no harm in that, but only goodness. So here's just one little thing you need to do before you can learn the secret of manifesting a great good fortune. If you have any feelings of guilt or shame or worry about you coming into your fortune, just notice those feelings now. Now, people are funny old things, and they have all sorts of strange and difficult feelings about money. Maybe you were told when you were quite small that rich people are bad people. Well, you know, maybe some are, but not all. and you certainly don't have to be. So if that is one of your difficult feelings, why don't you just notice that within yourself for a while? And maybe that brings up some other feelings or other thoughts. And you can just notice those too. And gently notice your breath is still relaxed and easy, and getting more relaxed and more easy. And as you breathe out with each breath going out, you can release those difficult feelings inside yourself, and they pass out of your body and out of your being with each out breath. And the beautiful golden light in the room absorbs those feelings for you. The beautiful, timeless golden light from this little fairy fire. And slowly those feelings travel back through the filaments and waves of golden light, back to the fire in the grate, and there they gently go up in flames, and you watch them go easily and beautifully, leaving nothing but a few ashes and a gentle sense of relief. And you may have other difficult feelings about money. Many people fear they couldn't really be themselves if they were wealthy, and that people would lie to them and be jealous, and maybe try to find ways to take what they have. And maybe all that fuss and bother, that would make them mean or cold-hearted, and they wouldn't want that at all. For who would want such things? If that is a feeling or a thought you have, just let it come into focus now, and just let it be here for a while, for it's always best to notice the things that irk us so, and not be ashamed or frightened of them, but just let them be present in our minds and our hearts. And notice too that you are a grown-up person now, or at least parts of you are grown up enough, and you have wisdom. You may not always give yourself credit for it, but yes, you have wisdom. Any amount of wisdom you can call on any time to help you with any problems you face. And you have a good heart, a very good heart. And good-hearted people attract other good-hearted people around them. And so you can bring your wisdom and your kindness and your goodness to the strange new situation of having your own great good fortune. And so you can know, inasmuch as any of us can know the future, that all will be well, and much good will come of you taking possession of your fortune. And you will always have the wisdom and the kindness to turn any situation to the good. And again, just watch your breath being easy and relaxed. Your whole body being easy and relaxed, and any remaining fears or worries you might have on the subject, well, they gently leave your body and leave your being on each gentle, relaxed out breath. And you can watch these thoughts and feelings gently float into the air, where they're drawn into the fabulous golden light, its strands and filaments and waves and eddies, and these thoughts and feelings are gently drawn back and down into the magical fire, where they burn up gently and easily, leaving nothing but a little white ash and a lovely gentle feeling of relief and calm. As Thaddius says all this, you continue to lie there, completely relaxed, with the magical golden light from the probably magical fireplace swirling gently around the room and filling you with a sense of calm and relaxation. Right now you can see yourself lying there, and Thaddius sitting in his little chair by the fire, and the gentle firelight shadows dancing around the walls and the ceiling. Thaddius continues. Now, here's the thing about how a young lady or gentleman might bring into being a great fortune, a great flow of prosperity, a great manifestation of wise wealth. It starts with a belief and a purpose of mind. But you know, this is a great and secret teaching, and much as I might like to yabber forth on the subject till the break of day, it may be that I do not have to, for you may have noticed a strange occurrence that has begun to occur. I believe right now you can see yourself lying on this couch all wrapped around in the gorgeous glow of the magical golden light. And doubtless you can see me too, my little chair by the fire, right by my office desk. And of course, the reason you can see your own good body, which is perfectly safe and relaxed, as well as myself, even though you are lying there with your eyes closed, of course, is that you have begun to be in your spirit body. And that is a wonderful good thing, for there are things you can do in your spirit body that you cannot so easily do in your mundane body of flesh and blood. And one of those things is that you can easily see other persons in their spirit bodies, and most especially those people who may not have thought to bring along their mundane body, and who may be in no position to do so. And here is one such, whom I am pleased to call a friend of mine. Do you see him standing there by that great case of books, looking rather splendid in his old-fashioned coat and his rather old-fashioned breeches? This is none other than Sir Simon Syracuse Silver, who left behind his mundane body, let's see, may have been 2 or 3 centuries ago. Sir Simon being what is commonly called a ghost, you see. But I would prefer to call him a spirit, if only because ghost is a somewhat scary word for some folk, and Sir Simon is nothing but kindness and generosity. And you should know that back in the day when Sir Simon loved and breathed as you or I do, he was known as the greatest alchemist in this land. And some say in all the lands across the whole face of the great good earth. For a common or garden alchemist knows how to turn a little bit of lead into a little bit of gold, but only after a long night of chanting over a hot, sweaty forge, and after emitting a huge quantity of noxious and smelly smoke. But Sir Simon knows the secret of turning a poor, sad heart into a rich and generous heart, and teaching that heart to call a great good fortune to itself. And with that, you find yourself turning to look at this ancient and worthy being, even though you are lying perfectly relaxed with your eyes closed. And Sir Simon smiles very kindly and gently, and you feel instantly that here is a good and generous spirit who wants nothing but blessings and goodness for you. And here is what Sir Simon says. Well, it is my own great good fortune to make your acquaintance, and it will be my pleasure, my honour, to teach you the essence of all that I have learned through my many long years of alchemical research, namely, the secret of manifesting a great good fortune from a pure, happy, and shining heart. Now, you can see that your own good self's earthly body is safely and happily resting in a state of great relaxation and ease, and watched over by my good friend Mr. Thaddius Tryppe. And now, without any worry or concern, you and I can go on a little journey. And so saying, Sir Simon Syracuse Silver turns and leads you through a shadowy archway at the rear of the office room, one that you had not noticed before, even though you could have sworn you had taken in the whole place when you'd entered. And down you go along a short passageway, lit by unearthly glowing lights hanging in the air, until you come to a landing, a surprisingly large and grand landing, where a broad stairway made of ancient polished wood descends. And now, says Sir Simon, we can walk down to the very special room. There are only 10 steps, but it is important that as we walk down, rather slowly, we count down from 10 to 1, and this little ritual will help us know when we have truly arrived in the special place and are ready to do the special work of manifesting your great good fortune. And so you take your first step on the stairway, feeling very relaxed, secure, and happy now, knowing that we are going to this special place. 9. Feeling a sense of certainty that you are traveling to exactly where you want to be. 8. Feeling the belief in yourself that you are a good person who has goodness and strength in your very core. 7. Beginning now to feel the softest vibrations of the magic that resides in these very rocks, the substance of the earth that has supported you all your days. 6. Noticing now the sense of kindness and strength that magically pervades these rocks. 5. Allowing the sight of your mind to reach out into the whole rocky substance of the planet and feel its strength and wonder and abundance. 4. With your mind's sight, seeing now the gold, silver, all the precious things resting deep in the substance of the earth, there to be given to the right people at the right time. Feeling the magic in the earth and the glowing kindness in your heart, coming closer and closer together. Feeling your mind becoming clearer and your heart becoming warmer. And now, as you come to the foot of the stairway, you can feel that you are relaxed, strong, believing in yourself with a deep, easy belief, in touch with your intuition and wisdom and kindness, and fully ready to enter the room. And Sir Simon indicates a rich red curtain which you pull aside to reveal an opening. This room is a very special place, says Sir Simon. This is your own special inner sanctum, a place of envisioning, intention, and manifestation. And if those seem like very long words, you could simply say magic. Now, everyone who comes here comes, in fact, to a different place, to their own inner sanctum. No one but you is allowed into your particular inner sanctum. The only reason I myself am here is to show you how it all works. I have special permission as a spirit and a teacher. Now, sit yourself down, he says, indicating a marvelously comfortable and luxurious chair in front of a strange table made of dark stone that has the fossils of fish and plants and many strange ancient creatures peeking out from its surface. And right in the middle of the table, there is a bright glow, for carved there in the middle of the table is a bowl-shaped recess containing hot charcoal, burning with almost no flame and absolutely no smoke. An alchemical fire. There's a quick way, and a slower way to manifest a great good fortune, says the alchemist. Now, if you take the quick way, you can literally go and discover a pot of gold coins in your very own garden. Or maybe a friend pops round and insists on giving you a lottery ticket, which then delivers untold riches straight into your hands. Now, the slower way is more that one works away at one's craft or business, but with newfound energy and vision, and it rapidly grows in success and fortune. Or indeed, perhaps, one is inspired to look at a new opportunity or a new idea, and that becomes so exciting and so prosperous that it delivers the great good fortune. Here's the rub. The choice between the quick way and the slightly slower way is not really yours to make. Rather, it's written in your nature, or, as we used to say, it's written in your stars. But in fact, it makes very little odds either way. But it's safer to assume that we will set our hands and our minds to the work we love, and by these means the treasure will flow to us. For if, in fact, the stars mean to deliver that hidden pot of gold to us, Well, the facts of the matter will soon be plain enough. Now, there are 7 steps to the magic, says Sir Simon, and each is energized by a colour of the rainbow, as you will very soon see. And you may very well be asking yourself how you are to do this magic, when the greatest alchemists of old laboured mightily and long, year after year, and here's your good self who knows little of these things. How are you to set about this work? And the answer is, you do not. There is no need, for you have already had the great good fortune of coming to the old town, and there, even more luck, you met the fabled Thaddius Tryppe, and he has been kind enough to introduce you to me, and I have had the great honour to bring you here, to your very own magical inner sanctum. And so you see, all the work has already been done, and the only thing left for you to do is to allow each of the colours, each of the phases of the magic, to warm and glow inside your heart and mind, and rest yourself and ease yourself, and be open to the changes as they flow deep into your being. And as Sir Simon says this, you notice a change has come over the alchemical fire before you. As deep and deeper, feel the fabulous red glow on your face and hands. Feel the glow in your heart and throughout your being. Know that this is the original and deep love that glows within you at all times. Even when you have felt stressed and lost and alienated, it has been there deep inside. Even when you thought it was hidden or lost, you abide in the original love, and the love you give yourself, secure and warm and valued, perfect just the way you are. And now that strange alchemical fire is shifting and growing and changing its colour. Bronze and orange flames are flickering now. Feel this beautiful, optimistic colour energy spreading out from the fire and all around you. Feel it in your heart and throughout your body. Know that this is the energy of the love that you shine out into the world. Orange fruit. Feel the love that shines for your loved friends and family, your dearest ones. Feel the love that you have for your community, for those you meet from time to time, and those you just know are there. Feel the love you have for the people who buy your goods and services, now, in the past, in the future. The love you have for the whole abundant world. Feel this love emanating out from you and flowing back into you. And as the lovely alchemical fire changes from deep orange to a bright sunny yellow, as this sweet yellow energy spreads out from the alchemical fire, simultaneously glows deep inside your heart, you are filled with the spirit of welcome, a joyous welcome for the prosperity that is coming into your life, the great good fortune that is speeding its way into your treasure vault, your coffers, your wallet, your bank account. Money is just money, but it is your open-hearted welcome that calls this fortune into your life. It is your heart, your character, your belief that is turning this money into real value in your life, your family, your community, deep and endless. And as you watch the gentle magical flames of this alchemical fire, their color flows easily from the brightest yellow to the most vibrant green, as deep and deeper than the deep green wood. The green light energy of the alchemical fire flows into your heart, into your being, and as it spreads throughout your body, you feel the beginnings of the miraculous power of healing, as green as the taking root inside you, healing from all the old hurts, the ancient anxieties that have been with you for longer than you can remember, surrounded by a wild, and maybe you can and maybe you can't remember incidents and cruelties and misunderstandings from your early life that have left you feeling hurt and struggling to move on. And the healing is taking root. Maybe you can feel those profound shifts beginning to happen. Know that once the healing begins, it will continue. The light of the alchemical fire continues its rainbow journey now, softly moving from emerald green to deep sky blue. As the clear, powerful blue energy enters into your heart and being, allow yourself to feel the presence of certainty. You are not constrained by the hurts and anxieties of the past. You no longer have to hold limiting beliefs about yourself. Feel the immense and yet gentle power that lives inside you, that has in truth always lived inside you. You believe in your abilities, your ideas, your love. Even if you are normally of a somewhat skeptical disposition, allow yourself right now, in this moment, to know that your plans succeed. Your projects are crowned with radiant success. People love what you offer. Abundance and great good fortune flows to you as if attracted by an irresistible magnetism. And the blue deepens now to a mysterious indigo. Deeper, darker, further in. Indigo energy permeates your heart and being, and with it the feeling of agitation, the simple power of choosing your words and actions according to your beliefs and plans, knowing that the power to act, to create, to reach out and communicate is your birthright, your simple, undeniable talent. It is just there in your talent, your power. What you choose to say, you say. What you choose to make, you make. What you choose to sell is sold happily and easily. What you choose to receive comes to you with simple, easeful action. Your thoughts and beliefs and actions attract your great good fortune to you. It cannot resist. And now, at the end of the rainbow, the light turns from indigo to violet, which to human sight at least is almost the same as purple. A field of violet flowers. The colour violet shines out from the alchemical fire. The colour violet flows softly through your heart and through your whole being. You feel deeply cleansed now and deeply aligned. It is easy now for you to visualize how all your dreams and projects align with reality. Now you are in trance and warm and safe, held by your highest powers and guides. But you can see too how everything will work out in the bright light of day when the time comes. Feel for the bright light of day. You have the resources, you have the wisdom, you have the smarts, and you have the kind, strong, excellent heart. Long rows of flowers. Along the way, there are decisions and challenges and choices to be made, and you have all the right stuff to make the right calls at the right time, in each and every moment, knowing that you return again to safety and to knowing. As deep and deeper than an amethyst cave. In the great wheel of colour, violet purple can flow again to ruby red, and so you see the marvellous alchemical fire change. Deep rose the original forever love in your heart and in your soul. The beautiful love deep inside flowing out and flowing back in. The beautiful autumn, an endless summer afternoon, welcoming your prosperity. Gold and yellow, and the tall mountain. The deepest healing is taking root. Green as the deep mountain, tropical sea, feeling the presence of certainty, knowing your success is real. Intend your work, choose your actions. The universe bends to serve you. At the end of the rainbow, violet. Your dreams align with reality. Violet. Reality aligns with your dreams. Violet. At the end of the rainbow. And here you are, says Sir Simon Syracuse Silver, spirit of possibly the greatest alchemist who ever lived in the old town, or anywhere on the whole wide world. And that, as far as I know it, says he, is the whole secret teaching. And I share it with you freely and with an open heart, asking only in return that you share this and whatever you learn along the way in your own turn, as and when the time comes. And here you are, in your own inner sanctum of power and wisdom, and now you know the way here. You can, of course, come at any time and change this place. Make it exactly according to your liking. Now, says he, I suppose we should get you back to your own good body, for if you have one, it does no good to be out of it over long. With that said, you find yourself saying a heartfelt goodbye to your inner sanctum as you follow Sir Simon's floating spirit out of the door, back up the wooden stairs, along the corridor, and returning finally into the cosy room with the fairy fire, where your dear old friend, for suddenly he seems to be a dear old friend, Mr. Thaddius Tryppe, sits peacefully watching over your deeply resting body. "Ah, there you are," says Thaddius. "You've been away a good long time with Simon Silver. But time means a good deal less to disembodied spirits than it does to us mortal day-walking folk. Speaking of which, it's high time we got you back." And so saying, Mr. Thaddius Tryppe waves his hands in the air in what must surely be a magical gesture, for the golden light in the room swirls in tendrils around his hands, forming for a moment a kind of golden flower, and you feel as if you shifted and moved back into your resting body on the couch. Without pausing, he says, "Now feel your toes, your feet, your legs and your knees, your thighs, your belly and your back, and all your vital organs still pumping and cleaning and working away. And now your chest and your shoulders and your deep inside your calm beating heart. And notice your breathing still calm and relaxed as a sleeping kitten. And here's your left arm and all the way down to your left hand and your fingers. And here's your right arm all the way down to your right hand and your fingers. Your throat, your neck, your face and all its handsome parts. Your forehead, the sides and top and back of your head, and inside it all your brain, as pink and grey and white and clever as it's always been. And here you are right inside my cosy room, away from the bustle and the hustle, safe and warm and wrapped up in the golden fairy light." And indeed, there you are in Mr. Tryppe's cosy room, and you can choose now whether to wake yourself up and return to wakefulness, or whether to stay ever so deeply relaxed and maybe even drift off to sleep. And if you are waking up now, well, you probably know the drill. Take a few deep breaths and stretch a little. Slowly and gradually bring yourself back. And if you are going off to sleep, maybe just gently take off your headphones, turn off your device, and then just take yourself off into a perfect, dreamy sleep.